This is the Razer Blade 17. It's not the original Blade 17 that came out earlier in 21. This is the mid-2021 version. In fact, I didn't review the first one because it came with a 10th gen Intel processor, and I feel like 2021 still using 10th gen processors is kind of not worth reviewing just because the performance was better in the 5000 series and we were waiting for Intel to release the 11th gen H series. Now that it's finally here, this thing is absolutely stacked. Like, this model has an i7-11800H processor. You can also buy it with a 900H. It comes with a full HD 360 Hertz display, 32 gigabytes of RAM, upgradable to 64, and then you have a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. Now, this is a PCIe Gen 4 SSD, and the read and write speeds are absolutely insane. And you don't have to buy it with just a full HD panel. They offer a QHD version with, I think, 165 Hertz refresh rate, and there's a 4K variant that has 120 Hertz refresh rate. Honestly, save your money. Don't buy the 4K version. I feel like QHD is the sweet spot, perfect for like a content creator who likes to game. But if you're more of just a gamer, then I'd probably stick to the full HD version. Not only are you gonna save money, you get the higher refresh display, and most likely you're gonna be connecting this to a monitor when you're sitting at home. Now in the box you get a 230 watt charging brick. This is Razer's standard brick. It's very squarish. It adds a little bit of weight, and of course, it uses their proprietary charging connector. The laptop is gonna be 6 pounds. So it's not the heaviest 17-inch laptop. Like, I have a GE76 sitting in the corner over there. This is like about the same weight, maybe a little bit lighter. But the cool thing though, is that it's more refined. Like, this is just a pretty laptop. Like, I don't know any other 17-inch laptops that has the refinement and the premium build quality that the Blade 17 has. As always, you can open up the Razer Blade 17 with one hand, but the thing they did with the 17 is the exact same thing they did with the 15 Advanced. Apparently, there's an anti-fingerprint coating on top, and as I touch the top, I can kind of see that, because if I did this on the base model, you would see my fingerprints instantly. Now, this will still get fingerprints, but it's a lot harder than it was before. And I'll do a little comparison in my review so that you guys can see the difference. You still have the Razer Blade logo in the middle. Of course, it's made out of CNC aluminum, so it's very solid. And of course, you have tons of ports. Power connector, RJ45. This is 2.5 gigabit. You have 2 USB ports, USB Type-C. This is Thunderbolt 4, and you can also charge the laptop using this as long as the charger supports power delivery, and it can go up to 100 watts. So enough to keep it charged if you're doing general productivity, but you're not going to use USB Type-C to game on it, as it will drain the battery at the same time. You have your headphone jack, and then on the other side, you have a full-size HDMI, Kensington lock, another USB port, another Type-C port, and then of course, you have a full-size SD card slot, and it happens to be UHS 3. So you're gonna get very fast read and write speeds when you're copying your data onto your computer. Now, I'll say this again, the Razer keyboard is beautiful to look at, right? But it's not my favorite to this day. I know I complain about it a lot. Razer's probably sick of me talking about it. And look, you know, it's symmetrical, it's good to type on, but I feel like for a gaming keyboard, the keys just need to feel a bit more sticky, you know? Like, they just feel a bit too soft when you type on them. You have these big, beautiful speakers. There's 4 speakers inside of here, and they produce fantastic sound. They also upgraded the microphones. It's a 4-array microphone, so if you're doing a lot of Zoom calls and Zoom meetings, it's gonna pick up your voice perfectly. And there's a 1080p webcam. There's no fingerprint scanner to log you in, but it does have Windows Hello at the top, which will use facial recognition to unlock your device. Now, I want you guys to get super close to your phone or your monitor, whatever you're watching this video on, okay? I'm gonna open up this laptop super aggressively. Did you see that? There was 0.05 seconds of wobble. This hinge is super stiff. The display just snaps right into place, and you don't get any crazy wobbling. This is a breath of fresh air. I just reviewed the Framework laptop not too long ago, the HP Victus and the HP Omen. You open up those displays, and it's just going back and forth like this. It's like they created a seesaw at a park. I can go for a coffee, okay, pay my bills, buy a brand new car, and graduate high school, come back, and those laptops would still be wobbling. The display quality is actually, really good for gaming. You have good color accuracy, a very big gamut to work with. So even if you bought this and you were to do some creative work, the color gamut would be more than adequate. The only thing I don't like is the brightness. I feel like 325 nits is very average now, and I would love to see more and more gaming displays go up to 400 nits. So I stopped the video to install a bunch of games, and the performance on this so far seems to be pretty good. I obviously need more time to do a full extensive test, but the 11800H inside of here runs nice and fast. You get good single core clock speeds, and I installed Warzone. I wanted to compare this laptop to the MSI GE76 that I was using earlier today. That's the other 17-inch laptop that I have here in the studio. This thing runs cooler. For example, with the CPU and GPU maxed out under Razer Synapse, the CPU temps stayed in the low 80s, whereas on the GE76, they would hover above 90. I never got a drop frame, it always ran smoothly, and after about 30 to 40 minutes of gaming, my hands did not get hot from being on the keyboard. I find this to be a good mix for gamers and content creators, and the fact that it has 130 watt 3080 is an advantage over buying the 15 advanced. You just have more power being thrown at the GPU. You need a bigger chassis to do that, right? And that's exactly why you'd buy the 17-inch version over the 15-inch version. Now, I'm not going to open this up just because I'm going to save that for my full review, but you can upgrade the SSD. There's a second slot for it. You can swap out the RAM up to 64 gigabytes, and the battery size is about 70 watt hours. I'm not expecting to get good battery life on this just because of the battery size and the fact that it's using a very power-hungry Intel processor. Now, I want you guys to drop your questions in the comment section down below, and I'll try to answer as many of them for my full review, which you'll find on my main channel. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.